Have you ever thought about how to make money 24/7? Even when you're sleeping? That's the dream, right? Well, today we're going to dive into 5 really powerful ideas for doing just that. And they're all inspired by the journey of Mark Tilbury, an entrepreneur who, get this, started with literally nothing and figured out how to build income streams that just work for him around the clock.
Just think about that for a second. What if the work you put in today could keep paying you next month, next year, maybe even a decade from now? That is the whole concept we're exploring here. It's about shifting away from just trading your time for a paycheck and instead building assets that generate income all on their own.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. The term passive income. It can sound a little bit like a scam, right? Kind of like some get-rich-quick thing you see online. And hey, when something sounds way too good to be true, it usually is. So let's just clear up a huge misconception right from the start.
So the myth is that you do absolutely nothing and money just magically appears in your bank account. The reality? It is completely different. Passive income requires a ton of work up front. It's not about avoiding work. It's about doing the hard work once and creating a system that keeps paying you long after you've finished.
So what's the end game here? What's the real goal? It's to build up enough of these passive income streams so that eventually they cover all of your living expenses. I mean, that is the path to real financial freedom. That's when you get to choose to retire early or work simply because you want to, not because you have to.
So how do we actually get there? Here's the game plan. We've busted the myth, and now we're going to explore 5 solid ideas, each one inspired by a real-life story or experience. Let's jump right into the first one. All right, our first idea comes from a place you would never expect. A warehouse. Mark Tilbury tells this story about hearing warehouse workers on his paper route just casually talking about their stock investments. One guy mentioned he was a part owner of ExxonMobil. And for Mark, that was a total lightning bolt moment. This realization that owning a piece of a giant company wasn't some exclusive club just for the super rich. Anyone could do it. So how was that worker actually getting paid? It's through something called a dividend. And a dividend is really just a cash reward. When a company makes a profit, it shares a slice of that pie with its owners, the shareholders. It's basically the company saying, hey, thanks for being an owner, here's your cut. And the process itself is surprisingly simple. You buy shares, which are just tiny little pieces of a company. When that company does well and makes a profit, they send you a cash payment. And the best part? That cash just keeps on coming without you having to lift a finger or sell a single share. Let's make this even simpler. Imagine I came to you and said, hey, I want you to invest in my coffee mug business. You put $1 into this mug. In return, I promise I will give you 4 cents back every single year for as long as you keep that dollar in there. That 4 cents you get on your $1 investment, that's a 4% return. In the investing world, we call this your percentage yield. It's just a really simple way to understand how much passive income your investment is kicking back to you. But hold on, before you rush off, a quick word of warning. Don't just chase the highest yield you can find. A company paying out massive dividends might not be reinvesting enough money to grow, and that can be a huge red flag. A much smarter long-term strategy is to diversify your investments or even consider low-cost index funds, which is kind of like buying a tiny slice of the entire stock market, spreading out your risk across hundreds of companies all at once. Okay, on to our second idea, which pretty much proves that age is just a number when it comes to business. This one was inspired by a kid named Alan, who, believe it or not, used to need help building his Lego models. Flash forward a few years, and that same kid was grossing over $100,000 a month on eBay. Just an incredible story about the power of e-commerce. Now, you can sell on giants like eBay or Amazon, for sure. But a really interesting way to get started is something called dropshipping. With this model, you market a product, let's say it's specialized pet gear, and when a customer buys it from you, your supplier ships it directly to them. You never have to see, touch, or store any inventory. Think about that for a second. No garage full of boxes. So what's the key to success here? You have to protect your profit margin on every single sale. You got to find products that are either super popular or incredibly niche. And then, and this is crucial, you have to outmarket everybody else. That means writing your own amazing product descriptions and taking way better photos. A great product just isn't enough. It won't sell itself. All right, let's talk about something a bit more tangible, real estate. This is idea number 3, inspired by Mark's best friend, Stuart, who's been crushing it with property investments for years.
Now, real estate is often seen as a pretty safe long-term bet, but a lot of people think you need an absolute fortune to get started. Well, that's not always true.
One way to get in the game with less cash is through crowdfunding. Think of it like this. A whole group of people put their money into one big pot, and an investment company uses that money to buy properties. When those properties bring in rental income, everyone who chipped in gets a share of the profits. It's easy to get into, but the downside is you don't really have much control. Now, for more control, there's the rent-to-rent strategy. It's pretty clever. You rent a property from a landlord, get their permission to sublet it, and then you rent it out to other people, maybe on a platform like Airbnb. You basically become the landlord and pocket the difference in rent, all without ever owning the property. It's definitely higher risk, but you're in the driver's seat.
And of course, there's the traditional path, saving up a 10 to 20% deposit and buying a property yourself. This is where you see the real power of leverage. Your tenants' monthly rent payments go towards paying off your mortgage. Think about that. They're literally building your equity and your wealth for you, month after month.
Okay, let's dive into our fourth idea, becoming a content creator. And the inspiration for this one was Mark Tilbury's own son, who at just 20 years old built this massive YouTube channel that took him all over the world. This just opened his eyes to the incredible passive income potential of social media.
So there are two main ways to earn passively as a creator. First, you've got ads that platforms like YouTube will place on your videos. Second, and this one is often way more powerful, is affiliate marketing. That's where you recommend a product, you share a special link, and when someone buys through your link, you earn a commission, and it doesn't cost them a single penny extra. So, what's the secret sauce here? Well, it's focusing on creating evergreen content. We're talking about videos on topics that are always going to be relevant. You see, a video reviewing the latest phone will be totally outdated in a year, but a video on, say, how to invest for beginners, that could earn you passive income for the rest of your life.
And that brings us to our final idea, which came from a meeting with the one and only Richard Branson. They were talking about how the world is changing and how information has basically become the new gold. I mean, think about it. Airbnb owns no hotels and Facebook creates no content. The internet has totally changed the game.
This leads us to the awesome idea of selling digital products. You create something just once, and you can sell it an infinite number of times with almost zero cost to you. This could be anything, an app, an online course that teaches a skill you've mastered, or maybe an ebook sharing your expertise. And this really gets to the heart of it. Your knowledge, your experience, your unique point of view, that is your single most valuable asset. The real challenge is just figuring out how to package it up in a way that provides value to other people. So that really just leaves us with one final thought. Every single one of us is an expert in something. I mean it. Whether it's from your job, your hobbies, or just your life experiences, you know something that other people want to learn. So the real question is, what unique knowledge do you have right now that you could turn into your next passive income stream?